What's going on, everyone? It's Alex. I'm back here in my garage. I was away this weekend at the beach. Hope everyone enjoyed their Memorial Day weekend, didn't eat too much. So today I'm going to be doing a quick install on my Z. Going to be installing the Z1 brake master cylinder brace I bought a few weeks ago. This is a great, simple, pretty affordable modification. It's a modification I highly recommend for someone just starting out. There's not many parts to it, and it can be done in just a few minutes. So before we get started, let's take a look at what comes in the box. So like I said, not much to it. These are the two main bracket pieces you get. Some nuts and bolts here, and as well as a nice little instruction manual that Z1 supplies. So the point of this brace is to combat the flex that the firewall has when you hit the brakes. So let me set up the camera real quick, and then I'll show you, give you an idea of how much that brake master cylinder actually moves. Alright, so camera's all set up. This is the brake master cylinder here. So I'm going to go in the car, hit the brakes, and watch this, and you'll see how much it moves. Alright, so that gives you an idea how much the brake master cylinder moves. It's not a whole lot, but to maximize your brake efficiency, it really shouldn't move at all, and this brace will get rid of that, and it'll just be a solid piece so that all your brake effort will go down to stopping your car. So I have the camera situated on the tripod. It's kind of a difficult angle to get to. Hope you can see it okay. But first we're going to start by removing the two 12mm nuts that attach to the shock. Those are 12mm. And then we're going to remove the clutch reservoir from the bracket, and then remove the factory bracket as well. And all four of these nuts are 10mm. So let's go ahead and remove those things first, and we can get the first piece of our bracket installed. And once you remove this clutch fluid reservoir, you can just kind of let it hang here. Now we can remove this factory bracket. Just like that. So now we can place the first part of this bracket, and then this just goes under this line here, and it sits on top of where the old shock tower nuts used to be. Then you can use your barrel nuts, and these get threaded back down onto the shock. I would just tighten these down kind of finger tight, since you might need some movement in this bracket once you install the second piece. So now you're going to take the second bracket, the second part of the brace system here. So the kit is going to come with two different size bolts and jam nut, which is going to attach to this bracket. And that's because the brake master cylinder comes in a few different sizes across the years. So between these two bolts, you're going to have to decide which one works best for your application. For mine, it's the shorter one. And just make sure whichever bolt you decide to use, that at least about a ½ an inch is able to be threaded into this before it makes contact with your brake master cylinder. So now we'll put the jam nut on this bolt. And then this bolt gets threaded into this portion here on the bracket. So then this bracket's going to be positioned on the back side of this false firewall like that. And then your bolt and jam nut is what you're going to extend onto the brake master cylinder. And then this piece of the bracket is where your clutch reservoir is now going to attach. So to attach these two bracket pieces together, you're going to use these two nut and bolt combinations. The bolts are going to go through the two holes on this first bracket we installed, and then pass through these two holes on the second part of the bracket. And then on each bolt, you're going to install a flat washer and lock washer, as well as the nut. So this second part of the brace does have some movement. So before you tighten these nuts and bolts, make sure that this is nice and straight, and then you can go ahead and tighten these. So now once you get everything aligned, you can go ahead and tighten these two barrel nuts as well as these nuts and bolts. These are 10mm and these are 19. Just be careful you don't damage your AC lines or any of your other brake and ABS lines here when you're tightening these two bolts. This back one's a little bit hard to get to, so just be careful. Alright, so all the nuts and bolts are tight. When you tighten these, this secondary or false firewall is going to flex slightly towards the front. That's normal. Now you can take your last two nut and bolt set and reattach your clutch fluid reservoir to the second part of the bracket. So again, put the bolts through and then attach your flat washer as well as your lock washer and nut. And these tighten down with 10mm wrenches as well. This bottom one is kind of a pain to get to, but it eventually tightens up. Alright, so now that all the other nuts and bolts are tight, we can go ahead and thread this back out against the master cylinder. Alright, then you can put a wrench on it, tighten it a little bit more, just to put a little bit of load on the master cylinder. You don't want to go too tight. I'm ashamed to say I don't have a 19mm box wrench, so I have to use an adjustable. Don't judge me. So just put enough load on it that it's you know, a little snug, and then it's going to keep it from moving. Then you're going to thread up your jam nut against this bracket. It's recommended to put some Loctite in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So just put a little bit of Loctite down here so it doesn't loosen up, and thread the nut up the rest of the way. Then take another 19mm wrench, or in my unfortunate case, an adjustable, and tighten the jam nut onto the bracket. And just like that, we're all done. So now I'm going to put the camera back on the master cylinder. I'm going to hit the brakes again, and now you'll see that the master cylinder doesn't move at all. And there's the completed product. The Z1 brace is fully installed now, and I can't wait to see how it is for the next track day, which is coming up in about a week and a half. So if you're planning to do this install, I hope this video helped you. If it did, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions about the install or the part itself, you can drop a comment down below. I'll be sure to answer any questions you may have. Also today I was working on cleaning up my new wheels that I got for the G. So this wheel is completely done. I compounded it and waxed it. It pretty much looks brand new. I really can't wait to install these. So as soon as I order some new tires for the fronts, I'll be getting those wheels installed. I can't wait to see how they look. They're really cleaning up really, really nice. So stay tuned for that, as well as a bunch of other things. I have a lot planned for the channel. Actually, at 2,000 subscribers, I'm going to be making a pretty big announcement. So let's continue the awesome channel growth so you can hear that announcement when we hit 2,000 subscribers. And with that being said, thanks to everyone for their continued support. I really, really appreciate it. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do so, and turn on those notifications to stay up to date with everything. Alright, so that completes this little install. Again, I hope it helped you. And like I said, stay tuned for a few more installs that will be coming soon. Alright, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.